those in the know, Waymo, a subsidiary of Alphabet, parent of Google, has been at the forefront of autonomous vehicle development with this little Firefly low-speed autonomous car making the rounds at its California campus to start. Recently, the company simulated real-world crashes to prove that its self-driving cars can prevent deaths. Now, that's a pretty tall order at this point in their development, but there it is. Now, what they did, Waymo has been testing their technology in Arizona for years, and now have been using Chrysler Pacificas for a long time. And unlike Uber, who had that mishap in Arizona, Waymo hasn't had anything like that. And in fact, they've talked about, and we've reported on it, that any type of crash that had happened was as a result of a human driver crashing into them, as opposed to the other way around. Now, in a bid to prove that its robot drivers are safer than humans, Waymo actually simulated dozens of real-world fatal crashes that took place in Arizona over nearly a decade. But not just any. They centered in on fatal crashes that happened in their geofenced area where their autonomous vehicles currently run. And what they did is they replicated the situation in terms of, okay, in cases where the Waymo vehicle was the vehicle getting hit, or in cases where the Waymo vehicle was the vehicle doing the hitting, in both one and multiple car incidents. Now, Waymo also, with these what ifs, they published some 6.1 million miles of driving data for 2019 and 2020, which included 18 crashes and 29 near-miss collisions. In those incidents where its safety operators took control of the vehicle to avoid a crash, Waymo's engineers simulated what would have happened had the driver not disengaged the vehicle's self-driving system to generate what they call a counterfactual. And they made some of their data available to academic researchers, which, by the way, one of the researchers that they made it available to was right here in Iowa, and I actually know the guy. The company did share its findings with a select group of academic experts to get their reactions. And it's Dr. Daniel McKeehee, director of the National Advanced Driving Simulator Laboratories here at the University of Iowa in Iowa City. And he said, Waymo is pushing safety analysis and transparency, his words, to a new level.
I was going to say, it said some data at first, and my brain kind of did a little warning sign there, but then it was really cool. I really appreciate that they're doing that, because I worry sometimes maybe with I find Tesla a bit more secretive with their data. Mm-hmm. And when I read this article, I know you said you didn't get to it, about Tesla kind of hyping up their autonomous, he just released, he's like, if you pay for this new package, this is the next level up autonomous people can get in their cars right now. But then when they go to the regulators behind their backs, they're saying this is not fully autonomous. And each time he's done that, people have bought into this, and it's raised millions of dollars for his company when they've been in cash crunches before.
Yeah, but let's clarify what you just said. Here's two things going on. Fact number one, since the fall of 2016, every Tesla off the line has had the ability to be autonomous.
Yes.
However, that Easter egg has never been activated because,
of course,
up till recently, regulators.
Yeah.
Now, what Tesla said at the time, and is probably still saying, depending on which way the regulators go, it could either be A, an over-the-air update, or B, an equipment upgrade, where you'll have to actually change out the equipment depending on what they regulate.
I know, but he's been actually offering just this last week a beta that you can purchase if you request it through Tesla, a beta that is the next level of, self-driving. It's very wordy and interesting because it's not fully, it can't turn for you. It can't turn into light, basically, or turn onto a new street. But he's offering it for a price, basically, people to buy this next level of beta.
That's problematic, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, yeah, that's what this article is hitting on.
There's no place right now that allows a private citizen to operate or own an autonomous vehicle.
Yep.
There's insurance issues that have not been resolved yet.
Yeah.
There's regulatory issues we're just at the beginning to try to deal with. We have not dealt with them yet. There's a lot of body, including in our state, of work with test vehicles, autonomous vehicles being tested. And in fact, I did an interview about 4 years ago with the outgoing person for our Department of Transportation who was looking at all this stuff and how best to introduce autonomous vehicles into our state. And the legislature at the time had deferred to the Department of Transportation, who then empowered her to look into it. But by no means were they ready to throw open the floodgates and say, autonomous cars for everybody.
Yeah.
And there's no state, not Nevada, not California, not even Arizona.
Yep, that's what they're talking about. They're going to the regulators behind the back saying it's not ready. I mean, he literally said, Musk has been tweeting plans for a major full self-driving software release, but Williams told the DMV, this guy works for Tesla, we do not expect significant enhancements that would allow for self-driving, and that final release of a current feature patch that lets Tesla stop at a traffic light and turn left and right without human input will continue to be on the same level where they're at now, which is not available.
Basically, why pay for it, number one, and number two, they're walking a fine line.
Yeah, that's what they said.
On purpose.
That's what they said, yeah, because Elon's saying it to kind of raise money to get more purchases, potentially.
I would argue
to build hype around Tesla.
I would argue that the technology is probably further along than he wants to admit to the regulators, but because of legal issues, because of insurance issues, because they could get royally sued big time, that they're not going that way. They'd have to walk that walk.
Yeah.
And say, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
It's like you so
we've got the technology, but gee, regulators, oh no, really, no, oh heavens, no, we can't do that. Trust me. If anything, I would tell you that the Teslas have it unactivated because they can't activate it.
Yeah.
Not legally. I mean, because there's not an insurance company in the country right now that will insure that car. And they're not far enough along to self-insure. So there's some issue there. In the case of, to get back to Waymo for a minute, they looked at, through a third party, they collected information on every fatal crash that took place in Chandler, Arizona, which is just, that's the city which they operate in, focusing on the crashes that took place within its operational domain, or the approximately 100 square mile area in which the company permits its cars to drive. They identified 72 crashes to reconstruct in simulation in order to determine how its autonomous system would respond in similar situations. Here's the thing. Their system avoided or mitigated, out of 91 total simulations, avoided or mitigated 88 out of 91. The only situation where they could not mitigate at all is where their vehicle in the simulation was the one getting rear-ended. There ain't a whole lot you can do about that, no matter what you do. Otherwise, they said, for the crashes that were mitigated, Waymo's vehicles would have reduced the likelihood of serious injury by a factor of 1.3 to 15 times.
Do you think it was enough simulations? It didn't seem like it was a lot there, but it's a start.
It's a start.
Yeah, and I appreciate that they're sharing a technology.
Yeah,
that's
this
cool.
is an evolving industry. Now, they also said that this was not subject to peer review or anything. Okay. So there's some testing that has to go along with that.
And with that, we've come to the end.